Let's look at it.
Being a big screen, I sure can read it. Oh, I'm sure you'll be coming right along.
We'll have made details of them upstairs. Yeah.
There's two people up there though. Oh, shit.
Okay.
On paper where it says two. I think that's a two. Okay, two and another, but that'll show you as they come. Are we on? Thanks. Like your swim. She wrote the chairs. Like your cleaning for very close. The city hall was built cash bucks not there.
You can get one.
Yeah.
It is a nice one.
Hi, Emil. Hey.
Hi.
The time is 7 p.m. and the date is April 4th, 2024, and this meeting is called to order. I'll do the roll call. Councilman Hardy.
Here.
Councilman Ramon.
Here.
Council President Michael Gregory.
Here.
Mayor Gilland, I'm also present. Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilman Ladd.
Here.
Council's all present. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you everyone for coming. We're going to move into public comment. This is a business meeting of the city council. The city values and welcomes public input on matters of city concern. Please address the council as a whole rather than individual council members or city staff. Council action on items brought in public comment is limited by the Oregon open meeting law. The council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person with an optional 2 minutes for council questions and answers. If you wish to address the council, please come forward to the podium and identify yourself for the record, your name and address. If anybody during public comment feels disparaged by another person that comes here to say something, please feel free to get up and leave. And if you want me to call you back after the person's done speaking, raise your hand as you go out and I'll be glad to bring you back in. But I do not stop. There's a freedom of speech thing here. So that goes for staff or council or any of you. Okay, thank you. So is there any public comment?
Sorry, I'm late. The weather was a little. My name is Anna Munson. Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Anna Munson. Do you need my address? I live at 230 Idlewood Drive, Southeast Salem, Oregon, 97302. And I'm here because I just wanted to introduce myself to the Jervis City Council. I am running for Marion County Clerk, which is in the election in May. And so I didn't anticipate all these people, but I'm just running and I just wanted to introduce myself as a candidate and just to let you know that I'm running the county clerk's position is as the head of elections in our county. And I just wanted to, I'm running to bring, I'm just running to bring more transparency, more accountability, and to help the citizens of Marion County understand the election process, as well as to make sure that they feel that their vote is being counted, that it's represented well, and that if people have questions of the election system, that there's somebody there who will answer in an honest and upright and a forthright fashion. I am a 40-year resident in Salem, and my husband, the reason why I'm doing this is my husband is a Vietnam vet, 100% disabled, and he served his country honorably, and I feel that it's time for me to stand up and serve the people of Marion County in such a fashion as well. Also, I have a grandson, and I want to make sure that he understands the foundation upon which our country is built, which is free and fair elections. Again, if somebody comes to the office and they don't understand the process, I want to help to make sure that there is accessibility to the process, understanding of the process, and that there's somebody who will listen if you have a question, rather than just kind of working around the answer to try to bring you something that is upfront, forthright, and honest.
It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. And I look forward to seeing what maybe you'll do. That would be nice. I think it's admirable that you're stepping up to the plate.
Thank you. Are there any questions that I can answer?
I say it's.
My website, if I may so, my website is Anna for clerk.us, 2 N's, the word for, CLERK.us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Good evening, my name is Brian Wagner. I live at 166 East Hemlock Drive here in Jervis, Oregon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's vital that we understand the key differences between a city manager and a city administrator, especially within our local government. While both roles involve overseeing our city's daily operations, the nuances between them greatly impact the effectiveness and integrity of our municipal leadership. Administrators work under elected officials like the mayor or city council. They collaborate closely with department heads, committees, and staff. However, this setup gives mayors and council members more power over crucial decisions such as hiring city personnel, including law enforcement, even if that means the council is not educated in the laws and rules regarding human resources issues and equal opportunity hiring practices. This power dynamic can lead to issues like when corrupt politicians abuse their authority and influence a law enforcement or city employee for personal gain or to benefit friends and family. While police or city employees fear repercussion or job loss due to political pressures, it compromises their ability to serve the community fairly. In contrast, a city manager operates independently, guided by professional expertise and a dedication to the city's well-being without the pressures to act on behalf of potentially corrupt individuals pressuring them. The Jervis City Charter recognizes this by requiring the hiring of a city manager as soon as practical. This term stresses the urgency of appointing a qualified individual to this critical role, highlighting the need for competent leadership as soon as the post position is vacant. However, recent events have raised concern about our local governance integrity. The mayor and council's persistent efforts to favor a city administrator over a city manager, despite the charter's mandate, raises questions about their motives and commitment to transparent leadership. The repeated hiring of temporary leadership over implementation of a hiring process where qualified city managers would be interviewed suggests an intended effort to bypass the charter, thereby eroding the community's trust in our elected officials. In summary, choosing between a city manager and a city administrator goes beyond mere wording or wants. It speaks to the core principles of a democratic governance and accountability. By respecting the mandate of the Jervis City Charter and appointing a qualified city manager ASAP, we can ensure our city is governed with integrity, transparency, and a steadfast commitment to all residents' best interests, not just the council's. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your opinion, Ryan. Anybody else?
Kathy Harvey, I live at 1087th Street in Jervis. I hate public speaking, but I am so tired of hearing the same rhetoric month after month at every city council meeting where the council, the mayor, officers of the law get bashed. We're here to work as a community. We don't need to hear this every single time. It's scripted. It irks me to no end. I just wish it would stop. We know that our council is doing the best they can for the citizens of Jervis. And I wish people, if they didn't feel so, didn't have to constantly bring it up. Just quit.
Thank you for your opinion. Anybody else?
My name is Mickey Wagner. I live at 166 East Hemlock Drive here in Jervis. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to shed light on a fundamental aspect of our workforce, the hiring process. It's not just about filling positions. It's about shaping the foundation of our organizations and communities. We must prioritize equitable hiring practices and selecting the most qualified candidates for the job. Equitable hiring isn't just a buzzword, it's a moral imperative. When we ensure fairness of our hiring processes, we open the doors to opportunities for all, regardless of race, gender, or background. It's about giving everyone a fair chance to succeed based on their skills and merits alone. Moreover, hiring the most qualified candidates is crucial for the success and sustainability of our organizations. When we prioritize qualifications over connections or personal relationships, we bring in individuals who are best equipped to excel in their roles. They bring expertise, fresh perspectives, and innovative ideas that drive growth and progress. Conversely, the cost of training unqualified individuals to do their jobs can be significant. Not only does it drain resources, but it also puts the organization at risk of costly mistakes and inefficiencies. Investing in proper training for unqualified hires is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. It's a temporary fix that won't address the underlying issues. Furthermore, when inequitable hiring practices are compounded by favoritism towards personal connections, the consequences are dire. Hiring the personal friends of officials without regard for their qualifications undermines trust in our institutions and perpetuates a culture of nepotism and cronyism. It sends a message that mediocrity is secondary to personal relationships, eroding morale and stifling potential. In conclusion, equitable hiring and selecting the most qualified candidates are not just ideals. They're necessities for building fair, inclusive, and thriving communities. Let's commit to fostering environments where talent and hard work are rewarded, where opportunities are accessible to all, and where our organizations can flourish with the best and brightest at the helm. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion, Nikki. Next.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Juarez. This is 860 Winfield Street Northeast here in Jervis. I would like to get an update about our park that was promised for Ivy Woods. It's been almost 3 years, and I just want to know, and fellow neighbors would like to know as well, where we stand with that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody got anything on that?
Yeah, I'll try to explain it. The developer when that subdivision was going in, opted to pay us for the property. And at the time, our administrator, our manager said it was a good idea. I didn't like it. I voted against it. And I think Wes Label was on here. He also voted against it. The rest of the people voted for it. So that money sits there. And the only way we could get a park is to find some property, which is time, there's not enough money there to buy property and do all that. So. Would you like to come up and speak?
Yeah, I just have a question.
Yeah, you can come up and ask your question. That's
I just
fine.
have a question about that. So we were told, Jake McManus, 1020 Winfield Street. We were told that where the apartments were was a wetlands and they weren't allowed to build there. So we were all pretty surprised when they started building low-income apartment buildings there.
That was before my time when that was authorized. I did hear the land use on it, that it was authorized. Anybody that was here prior have anything on that?
Well, our land planner went over that, and I think that was, what's her name? Holly. And they approved that for, to be able to build there.
For the apartment buildings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they wouldn't be able to build it if that wasn't approved by them. And we as a council, if they say that it's okay to go to build, we really have no recourse. I mean, we can't stop them, in other words, what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a question, but there's not a lot of clarity on it, so just wanted to ask.
Yeah, so.
So as to the park, yeah, I'd like to see it too. I've suggested alleys, different things. It's just a matter of getting a committee. Would you like to join one? To try to help rejuvenate that park idea? Yeah, but it's gonna, yeah, well, when you are here, send me an email. Let's talk about it. We'll get together, maybe have coffee and talk about maybe some ideas, okay? Michael?
Yes, John, do you remember how much money we have in that fund for that park fund for that side of town?
Don't quote me, but I believe that was $75,000. It
That's
was,
what they told us.
was put out there. It was $75,000 what they paid for 2 lots or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. But still, I thought it was 75.
And that money is allocated to a recreational park area on that side of town.
Right, it's specifically for Ivy Woods, that's what it says on the. And it specifies that those funds are for Ivy Woods.
Those funds are still intact and waiting, just so you know, they haven't been touched. So, yeah, I'd like to see some money added to it, maybe through our new budgeting process. Right now, we need to get money in reserve because for the last decade, we've had no reserve. So we're going to try to bolster that up. Yeah, be nice to get it. Thank you.
Well, I have another topic.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, so my time starts over, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jake McManus, 1020 Winfield Street. I just kind of want to bring up some problems going on. So 2022, everyone gets in, 15 cars broken into, one stolen out of the driveway. Last year, we had a drunk driver come around, hit somebody's car, total it, try to get out of the neighborhood, couldn't get out, jumped the curb, bent the axle. Neighbors came out, it was like 3 a.m. Neighbors came out, got him over on Grove. And 911 call, didn't send anybody, wouldn't send anybody out. This was last year. So I think that's a big issue. There's a drunk driver here. I think it went to Woodburn and they're like, yeah, we can't send anybody. That's a big issue. Drunk driver here, trying to take off, try to leave. So then they ended up getting a hold of Marion County outside in South Salem. So that's a 45-minute wait to get here. And then just last month, my car got broken into. I think this is just, it's kind of getting out of control. I have a solution. Okay. I think with the other cars, the patrol cars that we have sitting here, we should be able to park it in the neighborhood, move it around every day, every 2 days, whatever, because there's no secret that they're off by 11. So.
Funny you should say that. We had Doug Bodenheimer. Everybody remember him? Us older ones do. I've been here for years. And he used to do just that. And he had like a mannequin that he would set, and he was notorious for moving it around. I didn't know if anyone knew that. It used to be. It's an idea. We have a linebacker chief coming, and he is going to put in standard operating procedures, and he's going to revamp us and audit the way things have been done and set us up where we're running more efficiently.
Right.
And he's going to look at Jervis for what Jervis needs, and we're going to go from there. So we do have a plan in place to get things on the right track.
I would like to add to that. Last week, neighbor, everyone checked their cameras. So my van got broken into. You see the guy walking around checking cars on the street, pulling door handles. And then just last week, $3,500 worth of ladders stolen out of the backyard in day. So we don't know if everyone checked their cameras. You couldn't see a truck going in or out with ladders. So I think they came in through the apartment side. The house was over there on the back end and probably passed them over the fence. I think the solution would be do the patrol car. And then if not, we got somehow 11 to 7, 11 p.m., 7 a.m., give to the rookie. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't. It's the way she goes. And then if not, then what other solutions are there? And we need somebody on at night because that's where those hours occur of crime, 2 to 4. Whether it be DUI or theft. If not, then Marion County satellite. Or call Marion County and have them try to come in and at least not patrol through the main street of town, because that's obviously. But
All right.
in the neighborhoods. So
Okay. Those are really good ideas, and I see him writing them down over there.
there is, I did get an idea. I was coming in through kind of near Park Road. All the lumber over there. They do have these cameras that they just set up on trailers and they watch the lumber. I'm in the beginning of the neighborhood. Now, and see if you don't want to put a car there, and then.
I won't name the company, but I know a lot of companies that have cameras on their equipment these days. Yeah.
So.
No, I just don't want to name them. But you know what? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. The street sweeper came by my house yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, one for the Gipper. So is there any other public comment? Forward. Hi, honey, you can come on.
Hi.
Both names.
Hi, my name is Petra Wright. This is Lily Wright. We're at 103 Eastern Drive. And I wanted to address the council about an issue that I saw with an Easter egg hunt. I get that it's a public park and we all have access to it, but the one thing that we don't have access to is the bathroom. So us trying to reach out to get the council's approval to get the city people out to actually open that bathroom, allow us to have electricity That was the main issue. It wasn't that we didn't want to do anything. I mean, I wasn't part of it. I wasn't able to help, but as a community, you're like, oh, just put it together, put it together. But if we can't get those bathrooms open, everyone has to leave to go home.
Yeah.
Petra,
I'm gonna interrupt you and let Kyle speak, okay?
Last year, we were able to open a bathroom early. Typically, it's not open until the 1st of May. In anticipation of another event on Easter weekend, the bathroom was opened 4 days prior.
yeah, right, because it was spring break. So I noticed during spring break, yes, the bathrooms were wide open. But if anyone else had like a party, they would come to the community or come to the council or the city and be like, hey, we're having a party. Is the bathroom going to be open? And if this, like the people in the office don't know, and then try to get a hold of Public Works, because sometimes their voicemail boxes are full. So there is some reaches that we're trying to do, but if we can't get a hold of anyone or leave them messages and you don't respond to us, there goes our parties, there goes our events. I'm just bringing this to the council as a whole, because it is kind of big. Summertime, the park's open, the bathrooms are open, and I get having like a closing time, or they open all night long.
They're generally open 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's on a set time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all great. That was my solution, have it from like certain time to a certain time. Because my kids always, before May 1st, they were coming home, I had to go to the bathroom so bad, the bathrooms weren't open. You know, so nice weather, kids are out playing. That was just my concern is bathrooms. Having power, because I don't think is the power on the timer, or is it just the bathrooms?
I don't believe there's any power outlets there. It's just the bathrooms on an.
Like if we wanted to set like, because I know we've done movie nights in the park. Do we?
Generally, I don't know how they've done.
There is power inside of a locker facility. So yeah, with.
So if we wanted to do anything power wise, we still needed the city works people to help us.
Kyle would be your contact.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't reserve, we don't do any of that ordinarily, but Kyle is a good contact.
Okay.
Definitely get a hold of Kyle.
Okay. Another note, I know that some other cities do a reservation. And that might be a way for us as a community to also bring in some revenue. If you do like a $10 reservation fee for whatever to have the bathrooms opened, you know, because it's not a typical time. Maybe if someone wants it like December, you know, it's cold out, but people still like to go out.
That would be a question for our CIS insurance carrier to know what what would be around that, Petra, because I don't know. And something we could look at, Roger. But I really think that there's some insurance things and staffing for, I think there's requirements, just like we have to have fencing out here. So it's kind of odd, but we could look at it for you.
I'm just looking at it as a
Yeah.
whole for the community,
Yeah.
not just myself.
Okay, for all of you, we can look at it. I'm trying to be pointed, I'm just answering your question because you're the one speaking. So, yeah, we can look at that and see it. I don't know how busy he is, but that is something we can call CIS about.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Is there anybody else? Not hearing any and not seeing any hands up out there. I'm gonna move us along. And we're gonna do our consent calendar, approval of minutes, January 23rd, 2024, and March 7th, 2024, regular session, and our bills list for March 2024. Council, do you have any questions or concerns on these? I'll be looking for a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Hey, having a motion and a second, any more discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
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 The ayes have it, the motion carries. Committee reports, we don't have any tonight. Doug Lanfear with the ordinance committee, met with the team here, I think, but he is out of town. So we'll move on to presentations, and I would really like to invite Chief Budge up to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilors. Joe Budge, Chief of the Woodburn Fire District, and I've got in your packets with some information about the the fire district, some information about our bond expenditures that we're doing, chiefly that fire station just north of town, and some information about our renewal of our operating levies. So I'd just like to summarize that real quickly and then answer any questions that you might have. So starting off here, just a quick little bit about the fire district. We are, this is a picture of North Marion County, the fire districts in North Marion County. Woodburn Fire District being there in the middle, split right down the middle by I-5 and the Union Pacific Railway. 75 square miles extending down south of Jervis here to Wakanda and up north to Broad Acres, east to halfway to St. Paul, to Mount Angel, and west halfway to St. Paul. We've got really strong working relationships with all the fire districts around. We all help each other out for emergencies. We've got 16 career firefighters and about 25 volunteers to staff the operations here. Typically, we have 4 firefighters on duty each day. A minimum of 4 firefighters is what is on duty for the fire district. We've just started staffing the James Street station. So we've got 1 crew of 4 at that station. It takes 12 firefighters to fully staff a station 24/7. It's good for the community here in Jervis because that station is actually about 2 minutes closer response time than our main station.
James Street, is that over by Legion?
It's right behind Abby's Pizza on 99. So we hope to start, we're incrementally adding staff to the station as funds become available. We think we can have that station fully staffed in about 10 years. Between 5 and 10 years is what it's going to take the tax base to support that fully staffed station. We've got a very active student volunteer program, and it'll be students that initially staff the station here that's being built at Jervis. So these are all college students. We give them extensive training. They get training at the school. They will be living at the station and helping with our response here. So when an emergency happens here in Jervis, they will be the first responders, but of course they'll be backed up by our career members responding from Woodburn. We've got we got a half-time fire marshal and a half-time code enforcement inspector. So the fire marshal works really closely with Holly, your city planner, for the development that's happening here in Jervis. And the inspector, there's about 1,000 inspectable occupancies across the fire district, and that's keeps her busy. She is a half-time inspector as well. And the district supports a very robust CERT program. Members here in Jervis community are part of that. They are the people that will be helping the neighborhoods out in the event of big emergencies. The 2020 wildfires was a good example. They were helping people all over the county during the ice storms, likewise, and also during COVID. They will be instrumental in any large-scale disaster or emergency response need. Okay, a little bit about our bond expenditures and primarily the Jervis Fire Station. So we've started to break ground over there. You probably noticed that's the early work for getting the well drilled. The drill rig should be moving in there within a week or two. We're hoping we're next on his list. It's Schneider Will Drilling out of St. Paul that's doing that work, and they'll be moving in as soon as they can get off their current job. But it's about 1 minute north of town here at that site. We're really excited about that because of the response areas down here to Jervis, which is desperately needed, and also serves all those areas in South and West Woodburn that are developing. So it's close to development, and that's one of the criteria, of course, for siting the station. Those are concentric circles of the response time. So ideally, you get a 4.5 minute drive time is the ideal location for a station. That yellow circle in the middle of their station 23 is a new Jervis station. Without that, obviously, we've got a big hole here, and that's what we're trying to fill. Response routes are another critical part of this, and that spot there, Jensen, allows us to travel down Jensen Road and cross over St. Louis and get to the southwest border of the fire district more quickly. There's also a major collector being planned in Woodburn It runs along the southern boundary of the urban growth boundary along, it'll connect Butteville over to 99. So it'll be another good response to get to other parts of the fire district. There's just a floor plan of the station. There's sleeping quarters for 4 firefighters that eventually be staffed with career firefighters when we have the ability to do that. Again, we'll finish staffing the station there at James Street, and then we'll start staffing this station with career firefighters. It's a double deep, double wide bay. All the apparatus are currently in the fleet or being purchased with the bond money. So we do have the equipment to move in there now. Just a little bit of site plan. That location on the corner allows our rigs to pull in off of Jensen Road and then exit over onto Butteville. There's just a look of that exterior elevation of what that station will look like. One thing we're really excited about as far as our ISO rating. So Insurance Service Organization rates all 30,000 fire districts and fire agencies across the U.S. Gives them a 1 to 10 rating on how effectively they can respond to emergencies. The Woodburn Fire District currently has a 3 rating. And we think when we build that station or get that station built and staffed with our students, we'll be able to move up to a 2 rating. What that means is everybody's insurance is for their home insurance goes down. So it's not a lot. It's about a 5 to 10% savings. But that's about half of what we're typically bringing in from a typical home. We levy about $70 a year for our bond projects. And that pays about half of that, $70. Well, we're doing some work on our main station as well with our bond funds. This is mainly a spot for our antique fire apparatus. We got 1924 apparatus. It was originally stationed at the old City Hall building in Old Town Woodburn. So we needed a spot to store it. So we're adding have a storage location in the front of the station. It'll look like that addition. So that piece over to the right will be that storage area for that antique apparatus. The city of Woodburn Arts and Murals has dedicated a sculpture for the front there. They want it as a firefighter tribute. So that'll be part of that little plaza area out in front of the station. So a little bit about the other bond expenditure. We've got about $4 million being spent to upgrade and replace a lot of our fire apparatus. So there's 8 total vehicles. We got 16 fire apparatus in our fleet, and the apparatus is just kind of a general term that covers engines, tenders, brush rigs, air units. So eight of the 16 are being replaced. That's one of the new tenders that will be stationed down here at the Jervis station. It carries 3,000 gallons of water. It is used for areas where we don't have hydrants. That gets brings the water to fight the fire. Okay, just real briefly, information about the renewal of the levy. So in your packet was some information about that as well. We're asking for the renewal of the levy at the current rate. So right now we're levying 35 cents per thousand. We're asking for that to be renewed at the same rate, so there'll be no increase in the amount that's being levied. There's just some, this is the information is in your packet. Just a little history about that levy. First approved by voters in the fire district in 2019. With that, we promised 4 firefighter constant staffing, so no fewer than 4 firefighters on duty each day. And in one of them is always a paramedic. And with that, we brought in our advanced life support capability. So advanced life support is basically having a paramedic on duty that has the equipment and training to provide advanced life support. And that's really important here because, as you know, all of our hospitals are 20 minutes away in every direction. So that's we've been able to meet that every day since we passed or since voters approved that back in 2019. All the growth in the area that's happening here in Jervis and around the fire district, our calls are up 80% since 2010. So we're as the community grows, so does the emergency response needs. But it's also good to note that since 2010, our staffing has increased 8%. So we're able to grow with the fire district. As the population grows, the fire district grows. That'll continue as long as we're able to keep that local option levy. So again, as long as we're able to keep the funding going like we are, we'll continue to grow and continue to add staff as the fire district grows, without charging more money. Just a little graph of where we're at with the other fire districts around us, with the permanent rate, the bond levy and our local option levy at 35 cents, we come in at 214 per thousand. Our total tax burden on the taxpayers here, compared to Aurora at 235, and what's behind the little is Canby's, and they're at 271. Well, it's not advancing, or can you advance that for me? Okay, just to show you where the staffing, we've got the 16 career firefighters. So typically across the US, in Western United States anyway, typical staffing is 1 career firefighter per 1,000 residents. We've got about 34,000 residents in the fire district, and we got about 16 career firefighters. So that's about half of what's typical for a jurisdiction this size. Now, the reason why that's the way it is just the property tax reforms that we had in 1997. Good and bad on those property tax reforms, but it does put a cap on the amount of amount that we can levy for public services. So we are in compression on most of our properties in Jervis and in Woodford, meaning if we can ask for more, but then we would hit the limit, and then it starts taking away from other entities. It would take from Jervis City, it would take from Woodburn City, it would take from other people, other agencies that levy taxes.
We take from the school too.
No, the schools have a separate cap, so it's the measure 5, but a $5 cap on schools and a $10 cap on all other services.
Very good.
Okay, so if we're not able to pass that levy, we'll have to go back to 3 firefighter constant staffing. So that would be, with that levy provides about 17% of our funding. So we'd have to roll back to a 3 firefighter staffing across the district. And we would cut 3 half-time positions. So we've got a volunteer coordinator that runs all of our student programs, all the volunteer programs. That position would be cut. We've got another manager part-time that does our CERT program. That position would have to be cut, and we would cut our fire and life safety inspector. So those are some cuts we're looking at if we do not pass the levy. And I'll take any questions right now.
Well, it's crucial that we pass it, to keep it going. We've heard the benefits that it helps our home insurance. It also ensures we have several loss cases. I've endorsed it. I think most of the council knows that. Is there anything we can do, like signage, or what do you want us to do?
Well, we'll have an opportunity for that. I can't ask for that kind of support, but the local firefighters union can. So if anybody's interested in having a sign, they can contact the firefighters union.
Thank you for
your time.
everything you've done, Chief.
Do a fundraiser, like a spitball, cornhole tournament or whatever, $5 buy-in for a tournament or $20 buy-in, you're a team or whatever, but all that proceeds go towards the fire station. It's kind of like a.
Right. I'll ask you to hold or get with Chief Butch and maybe kick around some ideas. I like it already. Go ahead, Michael.
I'd like to say that was very, very nice presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have Republic Services, Cindy. And Travis, welcome to Jervis.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. My name is Cindy Rogers, and I am the Municipal Relationship Manager for Republic Services. And I'm joined here today, this evening by Travis Comfort, our Municipal Contract Administrator. Our presentation this evening is a review of the essential services we provided for the City of Jervis in 2022. Currently, the 2023 numbers are under the routine review process by the county. These numbers should be finalized this summer, and we'll be back later this year or early next year to present on the Recycling Modernization Act, ask council for a rate adjustment if needed, and review the 2023 numbers. In Oregon, most cities have chosen to franchise their solid waste collection. A franchise is essentially a contract known as a franchise agreement between a municipality and a provider. The franchise agreement allows the provider to service customers within the city's jurisdiction. Other examples of franchises with cities are cable, telephone, electricity, and ambulance services. Here are just a few of the benefits of the franchise system. Oregon Revised Statute 459 grants service and reporting authority to the cities. There's an increase in operational efficiencies, decrease in street wear and tear, and a decrease in air and noise pollution. Cities have also have additional source of revenue through the franchise fee, and Jervis's is 3% of gross receipts. Republic Services had 7 drivers servicing the city of Jervis. Drivers at the curbs of over 600 homes, 8 times a month. We service trash once a week, yard debris every other week, commingle recycled glass, batteries, cooking oil, and motor oil every other week. Nearly 67,000 carts were picked up in 2022. We are pleased to partner with the city of Jervis in their annual cleanup. The annual cleanup gives the community a chance to dispose of bulky waste items at no charge. Items such as furniture, mattresses, monitors, TVs, things that will not fit in your roll cart. This year's annual event is on April 20th, which is Earth Day. We are proud to be an annual sponsor of the Jervis 4th of July service, 4th of July celebration. We provide trash service and recycling service for that event every year. As mentioned on the previous slide, we serviced over 600 single-family customers, 12 commercial customers, and we did 61 industrial hauls. And those are the big drop boxes that you see. So we did 61 of those. Here's a breakdown of the residential services by the size of part for 2022. As you can see, the 65-gallon is the most popular at 33%, and the 35-gallon is the second most popular at 32%, making up 65%. But I will note that you can see that the 35, 65, and 95 are almost equally split. So it's very, very equal. This slide breaks down the total tons by percentage for each waste stream. The largest waste stream being 73%, which is garbage, and then recycling is 15%, and yard debris is 12%. I'll briefly touch on the statement of income. Keep in mind, if we need a rate adjustment, we will come back later in this year or early next year to go over that in more detail. But I did just want to point out that the revenue increased from 2020 to 2022. This is mostly due to the roughly about 9% growth in residential business. It's not due to a rate adjustment because we haven't had a rate adjustment since September of 2020. The revenue from 2022 generated over $10,000 in franchise fees for the city. Here are the table of expenses. I just want to draw your attention to disposal and recycle. Disposal and recycle is by far the largest expense that we have. These expenses are out of our control and they're driven by the market. Labor is a second largest expense, and then that's followed by truck and equipment. And then I will pass it over to Travis from here.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Travis Comfort. I'm your municipal contract administrator with Republic Services. It is my pleasure to be with you here this evening. I'm going to go over recycling a little bit, some local updates, and then a little tidbit on the Oregon Recycling Modernization Act. The key thing to remember with recycling is empty, clean, and dry. The material can't have any moisture or organic residue left on it, otherwise the material can't be recycled. So just as a cautionary tale on recyclables to help make the system go better, if you're in doubt, just throw it out. In terms of the glass bin recycling, Marion County has and set the gold standard for service in this area for Oregon. Residents in Jervis can recycle curbside household batteries up to a quart Ziploc bag every other week. Latex paint, used motor oil, antifreeze, and used cooking oil. Those three items need to either go back in the same container they came in or a clear jug clearly labeled to what the liquid is inside. And then all glass bottles and jars can go in that bin as well.
You do take motor oil still?
Yes.
In the milk jug?
Yep.
Okay.
Just right oil.
I did.
Motor oil. Yeah.
Okay.
And then in batteries, so it is 1 quart and it's Ziploc sealed. Every other week it goes on the top of your glass bin, and then just if residents can tape the lithium battery connections, that's what causes battery fires. They'll start getting together and then they cause a chain reaction that leads to truck and facility fires.
So put a piece of tape on top of it?
Yep.
The end of the battery.
Okay.
Yeah, just right over that connection end.
I didn't know that.
Covanta Inc., also known as Covanta or the Burner, is the designated site for solid waste in Marion County. In Oregon, counties have flow control over the material streams in Oregon. So the county has designated solid waste to go there. Currently, their contract ends in June, so that's just a few months away. They are in talks with the county and state to possibly exercise a 5-year extension of that agreement. And we'll let the city know as soon as we have an update on that. And then many of you might have heard that the legislature passed in 2021 the Oregon Recycling and Modernization Act. There's 4 key components to this, and it's a very complex piece of legislation, and we'll be back later this year to update the council once the rulemaking period is passed. But the 4 main components to know about this new system is it's going to create a standard uniform collection list. So residents in Jervis will be recycling the same things that residents in Astoria, Bend, or Portland recycle. Second, it transitions Oregon to an extended producer responsible system. So that means producers of the plastic waste have to pay to subsidize the system. And that leads to the commodity and market stabilization funding. The producers of the plastic waste are going to have to pay to fight contamination of the stream and to subsidize the commodity so that it doesn't impact ratepayers' disposal costs for the recycling bills. Oh, and then fourth is they're going to develop uniform education and outreach materials that will be available for free for use for any cities in Oregon. So while Jervis doesn't have a population level that mandates participation in the program, they will have access to all of those resources. And there will be additional funding also available for outreach programs, and we'll keep the city up to speed on that. I really appreciate your time, and I'll pass back to Cindy to wrap us up.
Thank you. That was nice, Travis. Thank you, Travis. So as mentioned at the start of the presentation, we plan to be back either later this year or early next year. For sure later this year to present on the Recycling Modernization Act, because that is very complicated. So we'll be back and to present on a rate adjustment if it's needed. And then lastly, I just want to let council know that Republic Services has a charitable foundation, and we give millions of dollars each year to nonprofits. And I really want to encourage any of the nonprofits of Jervis to reach out to me, and I will happily help them through the process of applying for a grant. It's really important that all of our city partners know and all of our nonprofits know that this is something that Republic Services does, and I'm the first person, I'm kind of your first line of defense as far as that is concerned. So please reach out to me. And I really appreciate the time. I think you guys have, a lovely community and lovely chambers, and it's been lovely to be here this evening, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And Cindy, you guys, thank you for continuing. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Well, anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
We don't have any public hearings. So the old business is the budget committee. Roger, did you want to touch on that? Gotta speak.
You know,
Yeah,
okay. Or,
sorry.
we're gonna publish on the website a schedule of activities for the budgeting process. We officially start today. And we end up, late June
Alright.
through the whole process. So we'll get this up on the website. It should be there sometime tomorrow.
So you have a, let's read that. You're our budget chair because you're the manager. So. Right, is that what we need to do with that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So moving on to our cleanup, I think we just touched base on that. That will be on the 20th. Is that correct? At 8 a.m.
Yes.
I've been everywhere today. Very focused. So we'll be out and setting up about 7:30 a.m. Council, will you all be there or? No? Busy? Okay. Junior? Okay, I'll be there. Michael?
We'll do our best.
Okay, hello? John? You got a crew? And I believe, your crew will be there, right?
They volunteered to.
And Tim, you volunteered too, didn't you?
Yes.
So moving on from that. If you have friends that need pickup, if you'll put stuff curbside, we're making a list and you can call City Hall and get on that list, to have a pickup. So just let us know. And, Amy, you're still bringing a trailer from, thank you. And, I'd like to write them a little card. A head count would be nice of who's gonna help, because we're gonna do some pizza at lunchtime for everyone. So if you're gonna sign up to volunteer, please call City Hall and do so that we know who to get pizza for. Thank you. New business, celebrate Arbor Month proclamation. So I do have a proclamation to make. In celebrating Arbor Month, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life, giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Annie Gillen, Mayor of the City of Jervis, Oregon, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Arbor Month in the City of Jervis, Oregon, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Month and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. This 4th day of April. Kyle, did you want to talk? Are you going to do that in your report about your trees later?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everyone, and remember Arbor Day. Next, we have a resolution authorizing to approve change orders to wastewater treatment plant. I called around and got a consensus, so this is more of a ratification and what that will allow with our new project. Usually if there's more than $5,000 spent, it has to come to council. But since we're breaking ground, Holly, Byram, and the planners have said that it would be best for us to increase that to $20,000 for Kyle and Roger to work together in case there's a change order and they need to take immediate action. So tonight I'm asking for this resolution. Okay, City of Jervis, Oregon, resolution number 24-001. A resolution authorizing approved change orders of $20,000 for the wastewater treatment plant WWTP improvement project to city manager and utility superintendent. Whereas there will be times when we need to move quickly and wait until the next city council meeting will impact the project. Whereas delays in decision-making, such as waiting for this next city council meeting, can potentially shut the project down. Whereas the contractor could then claim delay cost as they still incur during waiting period. Now therefore, the City of Jervis resolves as follows. Roger D. Brown and Kyle Jentz have the authority to approve change orders up to $20,000 for the WWTP improvement project. And considering a vote duly passed by the City Council of the City of Jervis this 4th day of April 2024. Can I get a motion or is there any questions?
If there's no questions, I'd like to make a motion. Resolution 24-001, authorizing to approve the change order to the wastewater treatment plant.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 The ayes have it, the motion carries, so moved. Next, we have a resolution 24-002 authorizing Rubin Law Enforcement Consulting Firm and providing professional services. This resolution reads, City of Jervis, Oregon, resolution number 24-002, a resolution authorizing Rubin Law Enforcement Consulting, RLEC, in providing professional services to the City of Jervis. Whereas to provide ongoing mentorship, advice, and instruction of the Jervis Police Department. Whereas to conduct an inventory and an audit of the Jervis Police Department. Whereas to review all policies, guidelines, and procedures of the Jervis Police Department. Now, therefore, the City of Jervis resolves as follows. To use the services of RLEC Consulting Firm. It will be duly passed by the City Council of the City of Jervis this 4th day of April 24, pending your motion.
And again, if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'd like to make the motion to pass resolution 24-002, authorizing Rubin Law Enforcement Consulting Firm in providing professional services.
Second.
Any more discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
The ayes have it, the motion carries, so moved. This next one, is a resolution opting into recreational immunity provided in ORS Chapter 105 and SB 1576. Peter, do you have anything to add for that? It was suggested by Ed or
No, unless council has any questions,
we
I don't have
can't hear
anything to
you.
add. Oh, you guys can't hear me at all? How about now? Can you hear me now? You guys can't hear me still? Yeah, so I don't know. I would opt into it. So go ahead and approve it is what I would say.
Can you call me, Peter, and I put you on speaker?
Yeah, and I still can't hear you if you can hear me.
There you go. Hey, Peter, you're on speaker.
Hang on a second.
Yes, sir.
Again, you're simply opting into the way the law has been until a recent court of appeals decision, which means that people can use your right of way, city deed, food for any kind of personal injury or something like that that happens. The bill is going to be looked at again in the next legislative session, so it's kind of a temporary opt-in. But it's a solution in the meantime until the legislature passes an actual bill to kind of put this in what we call codified to recreational immunity in place. So we would recommend that you do opt in.
For those of you that don't know, Peter is with Jordan Remus. There are city attorneys. He's on that team. Do you guys have any questions for Peter? I think it's pretty straightforward. Could I get a motion then?
Yeah, if there's no other questions, I'd like to make a motion.
No, I have to read the resolution. Sorry. Or is there one? Yeah, it's pretty long. I think I'll shorten it up for the record. Resolution number 24-003, opting into recreational immunity. And there will be a report from Ed with what that is, the background and such. So I need a motion to pass resolution in the number 24-003.
All right, I'd like to make that motion to pass resolution 24-003, opting to the recreational immunity provided in the Oregon Chapter 105 and the SB 1576.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The motion carries. So moved. Thanks, Peter. So now we're going to move to the staff reports, and we'll start with our acting chief, Tim West.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and residents of the City of Juris. The March 2024 Council Report, Council Services 151, harassment 1, traffic citable offenses 26, 27 written warnings, assisting agencies outside city limits 2, assisting agencies inside city limits 22. I'd also like to note that in the report, this is basically a mirror of last month because the way the Report Falls. We do not have the available for March until next month. I'm gonna move down to the police officer position. I've actually adapted a little because things have happened since I posted this last week. The postings have been made. We've collected 5 applications to certified positions. We are going to have a interview process next week. The interview process will consist of 2 employees from the police department, an employee from Public Works. We're also trying to get maybe an employee from another police department. I've contacted CIS, which is our insurance company, and spoke with them about the proper procedures and hiring process. They've sent that to me. They've also walked me through it so that they would help me with any assistance. For people that need to know, they are a very good resource for the proper hiring procedures. So we make sure that we're doing it right per law. Also, our DARE classes, we were able to start our DARE classes at Sacred Heart. The students were excited to learn, and even like some of mine, but not all of my dad jokes. I also contacted the middle school and talked to them about some standalone classes because we already did 5th and 6th grade or 5th grade with the elementary school. So I contacted the middle school about standalone DARE classes. Those are classes such as social media, vaping prevention, and other age-appropriate lessons. These classes will allow us to teach one or 2 different classes instead of 10-week course. So that way our middle school students can get more lessons. While we're talking about training, I would like to share some of the trainings that the Jervis Police staff have attended recently. In pairing with other local agencies, we've been able to attend some very good, valuable training. Several officers were involved in a breaching training. And Mount Angel Fire District, this training allowed us to learn and better understand ways to enter buildings and residents when the situations were urgent and traditional ways would not work. We were then involved in an active shooter drill with the Mount Angel Police Department. This drill was valuable for all of us to better prepare us if, and unfortunately, an active shooter situation occurs. It was invaluable to work with other agencies that would most likely be our first cover agency if such an incident occurred here. This helped us to understand how either agency would respond to these types of incidents and strengthen our ability to work with them as a cohesive unit. It should also be noted that last year during the summertime, we had an active shooter class at the high school and worked with other agencies in that situation also. We also attended a legal update that was sponsored by the Silverton Police Department. This legal update was presented by the Marion County District Attorney's Office. This valuable training helps us to learn the ever-changing laws that affect the citizens daily. We were also able to learn about the Law Enforcement Assistant Diversion Program, the LEAD program. Knowing more about these programs has allowed our officers to learn a valuable tool that will help us to provide more assistance to community members in need. Mount Angel and Silverton Police Department reached out to the Jervis Police Department and invited us to the above training. The training courses were provided free of charge and they were valuable to us. Administrative Assistant Crystal Camacho has also attended several training courses in the past couple of months that will help allow the Jervis Police Department to provide a professional and efficient response to the needs of the community as we grow. In closing, I would like to thank the citizens of Jervis for their patience and understanding as the Jervis Police Department continues to improve as we overcome some obstacles that are in front of us. I would also like to answer some of the questions regarding the coverage. With the 5 interviews that we have, a couple certified and the 3 that are not certified are also very high, good qualified candidates. Should be able to get staffing up. You guys have any other questions?
No, I think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you. a community member, can I ask you to get with them after the meeting? Would that work? So we can move along. Is that okay, fellas? Okay. Next up is Kyle.
Good evening. Just wanted to touch back on the Black Walnut Park and the bathroom opening. It is closed in the winter time, being that it's constructed of a cement building. There's no protection for the plumbing. So unfortunately, in order to get water to the building, even temporarily for an event would require filling the entire system, sprinkler system, splash pad, everything. But with the weather being the way it has been the last several years, the last 2 years in a row, I've made a decision to open it up a month early, and it's great to see it getting used. So then on the 10th of March, early Sunday morning, while most people were sleeping, we had a power outage at 4 in the morning. So of course we were here, and everything worked as it should, aside from the one generator, coincidentally at the Black Walnut Park, failed to start. It's a very critical piece of infrastructure because there's no way to pump the sewage out of that neighborhood. So I was able to diagnose it, but the only way to get a part here was to call a technician with a part. So we did incur a bit of an expense with that, but we had it back up and running about a foot before we hit the upper hill. So that was a little close. Then with the citywide cleanup coincides with Arbor Day and everything. As a city, to maintain our tree city status, as well as the way our stormwater management plan goes, we're required to plant 4 trees every year, which has always been done, generally put in the parks or, public spaces. But this year, we're wanting to involve the community a bit more. We do have access to a couple watering stations throughout the city. So it would be great if we could get some suggestions dropped off either City Hall or stop me on the street. Just get a hold of me either way. And I'd love to have some suggestions where you'd like to have a tree planted. Especially because coming up here, we're going to be having to take out a couple trees that are nuisance trees, maybe receiving several complaints. So I also put a new policy in place for every tree that you take out, we will be planting another one regardless of the 4 that we're required to plant. Because as you look around, there's very few publicly owned old growth trees around. So it'd be nice to kind of get back to there. It's obviously going to take years, but with a plan, we can replace those going forward. Then touch bases, the wastewater treatment plant, the upgrade is underway. There's lots of excavation going. As a matter of fact, they've bedded in some backfill rock, getting ready to pour some cement. I'd like to maybe ask for some suggestions for a date to do the group photo that we've talked about a couple times in the past. Send me an email or whatnot, what works for everybody. I know weekends are busy, evenings are even busier during the week, but I'm pretty flexible and we can access it just about any time. And then on that note, I am keeping a daily log of just about everything that's been going on out there. If anybody has any questions, say, I just saw this piece of equipment go by. What was that? Maybe I can help you. That should wrap everything up.
Kyle, maybe we can get a kid to to plant one of the trees so that they can be involved. And like we had some problems at the park with the other trees that had been planted over the years. Maybe if we get them to actually do it, they'll take good care of it. Kind of deal.
Yeah, I'm open to all sorts of suggestions, because for me, it's always been, the easiest, put it in a park where there's automatic irrigation, but we don't want to, crowd the park too much with that. So we do have a lot of other public spaces. So yeah, if we could work it out, have a kid come in and dedicate it, that would be great.
Just off the record, I don't know if it's in your report, but Kyle, actually needs a new computer console in his office. So, not that we need an authorization, but just a heads up, his has really been acting up pretty bad. He's always gotten the hand-me-downs. So, I'd like to get a consensus that it's all right for him to get a computer from you guys without getting. You guys all right with that?
I am.
Yes.
Roger, get the man a computer.
Will do.
Thank you. And Kyle, thanks for all that you guys do. And so council, about this date for the picture, what works for you guys? I have lunch hours that I can take for between 12 and 2. Tuesday. Michael, you're another one that works.
Yeah, Tuesday, 4 o'clock would work.
I could, Tuesday at 4, I guess I could just skip lunch and take my last hour off. I can do that. What, John? Yeah? You guys, Junior, Tuesday night? Okay.
Where are we gonna meet up at?
We could all meet out there. Parking is pretty limited. You'd have to drive around. We can meet here at City Hall and carpool out.
Okay. Wear my rubber boots.
City Hall it is.
Okay.
4 o'clock on the range. Roger, you're up.
Oh,
Do you have a question for Kyle?
I have a question for you. So in the past with the Tree City USA, when you were talking about, you know, giving a kid a tree plant, they used to, Tree City would give us, like 100 trees, little saplings. And we would take them to the kids and then they would go home. And there are kids now that are grown that actually still have those trees in their yard. So when you were talking about, you know, maybe you're expecting it more. So I don't know if you can bring that back into play for.
Vicky, maybe not this year, Kyle,
No.
but in the future, it could happen.
I know that it's been worked out with the local nursery just to the north of town. I believe it was the mayor that had organized that. And then it was they're distributed through the school.
Okay, is that still a possibility this year? Do you think?
I'm not sure. The Public Works was involved in hauling it to the school.
You know what, I'll have to look into it and the records and see what I see. I also know some nurseries. I go to church with. I'll take one more. Brian, go ahead.
Just real quick, I mean, on the city park things, I see the website, it's nice, I enjoy that, but we were talking earlier about people being able to contact you, like the mayor said, contact you. So can we get your contact information maybe on the city park site?
We're still working on that, Brian. We're still uploading a lot of things. That's being worked on as we speak.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes. Okay, Haley, that's it. One more.
I'm very sorry, but I've actually tried to reach out to you many times and your voicemail's full and I definitely understand you're a busy man, but I'm trying to coordinate things and I just can't get a hold of it.
Good.
I believe email is on the website as well. Phone, because the voicemail's in my office, and I'm seldom in there, to be honest. So if you need me, I can give you my cell phone number too. I'm not shy about giving that out. I prefer not to put it on the internet, but absolutely.
Well, then I would give it out.
Weirdos on
We could also, if you're, when you're paying your bill, if you want to leave a message, you can leave it at our front window or the front window. I'm sure they would get it to Kyle.
All right, so we got that. So we need to kind of move on to Roger's report.
Good evening, everyone. Try and make this brief. Several bullet points here. Our accounting closing project is almost complete. Should be mid-April, we'll have March closed, and that will be done. The public works workshop that we had on March 20th, got an email today from Willamette County or Willamette Council of Governments. They're going to have everything they promised to deliver us here within a week.
Nice.
So we will have some things to do. And we're going to have a follow-up meeting with them after that is completed. The PERS makeup payment of $108,014.80 has been made. Put a dent in our cash, but at least we got it done without penalties or interest.
Good job.
Nice.
As mentioned a little bit ago, the budget committee schedule is going to be on the website, most likely tomorrow, Monday at the latest. The wastewater treatment plant, the way the payments are going to work on that, we have adequate float to do that. We don't have to worry about running short on cash. We got $4.5 million in our
governmental pool. We can take money in and out, and replenish with the ARPA funds when they pay us. The SDC and various fees have not been looked at or analyzed since 2018.
What?
The SDC fees have not been analyzed or looked at since 2018. They're supposed to be looked at by council resolution in January of every year and adjusted to the Seattle CPI. So what I'm going to do is go back to 2018, and we're going to make an adjustment up and down, however that works, up to the current year. Then I'm going to bring a suggestion to council about what to do about changing those fees. I think we're leaving a lot of money on the table here. And a lot of inflation, all kinds of things going on in the economy. And our SDC fees are not reflecting that at all.
Oh, is that where we were paying like 12,000 and everybody else is getting like 18 to 20? Is that what you're speaking of?
That's what I'm referring to, yes.
Oh, okay. That, I was like, you lost me. So when somebody builds the building, is they're only paying in 12 when everybody else around us is getting 18. So that should have been adjusted accordingly since 2018. Right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Council, do you understand that? What he's saying?
Yep, very familiar with service development charges.
Okay, we've been shorting ourselves. Okay. Okay, keep discovering.
So I've got a few more things. I noticed this morning out in social media, there were some questions that were posed. One of them was, why am I getting paid mileage to go to the post office? Well, I don't go to the post office. I go to the bank every day. The IRS per mile allowable charge is 67.5 cents per mile, and that's what I'm paying. I don't sign my own expense reports. They are approved by either the mayor or, in the mayor's absence, the president of the council.
In those last charges, did you not have 2 business meetings for the city of Jervis outside of our city that had?
Yes, I had one. I had one in Albany and one in Salem, and I did them both in the same day.
Yeah, and so that was the other. Just put that right now. Okay, thank you, Roger.
One of the other questions was the accounting expense to close the books for the period to the end of March 2024. The books were not closed at all on Morgan ever since June of last year.
There's paperwork for that.
I didn't have the bandwidth, frankly, to close the books and work an average of 50 hours a week while I was discovering and solving some serious problems. This discovery process is ongoing. Once an issue is identified, more things seem to pop up. It's like puppy mill, we're just cranking out problems. We have an independent CPA that has completed an internal payroll audit and has corrected a few identified issues that have been solved. She came to us upon good recommendation from a managing partner of the Salem office of Aldridge CPAs and Advisors. She did a similar project for Hood River County when their management infrastructure failed. Another question, Laura Clifton's expenses regarding a court proceeding representing the city at just as an observer at the Palmer versus City of Gervais case was a 4-day assignment. City paid mileage, meals, and parking, averaged $37.50 a day. City won the case, and an appeal is expected. The question about the Oregon State Treasury Local Government Investment Pool access. A little background on that. When I started, I was looking for what safeguards could be put in place for the liquid assets, particularly this fund. Fund has a balance of about $4.5 million. Yet at the time, it only had one authorized control person, that was the city clerk. No limitations as to where the fund could be wired jointly. The transactions with this fund are all wire transfers. There's no checks.
Roger, Becca, what did we have to do to get control back to get it in your name? Do you remember how we had to prove?
We had to prove that you were the mayor because all the other control people that were on the account had left employment.
And not switched anything over?
They hadn't done anything. So as a result of this, we now have the mayor on there and myself. And the way this worked is it used to be that any of those funds could be wired anywhere to anyone's bank account. That's been changed.
Yeah.
It's only available, the funds are only available to be wired to the city's banking account. Period. End of conversation. When that happens, the mayor gets an email that says the transfer has occurred. So that's transparency.
Do I ever transfer money, Roger?
I think you have the right to, but then if you do, I get the email.
But I have to date never done such thing.
No, you haven't.
And if I did, it could only go one place, to the city, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. I'm pointing at Roger, not you, Mickey.
So that discovery is what prompted me to put together the internal control matrix, which was included in the council packet for your review. That project is, as far as I can tell, pretty much completed. If we see any other things that need to happen, we'll modify it and run it past the council. Finally, in this whole process, we discovered several city credit cards of former management employees that were still active and being used. John Morgan did not turn them off.
Whose name was on them?
Susie Morrison and John Morgan.
And they're off now?
They are turned off now, yes. A lot of work's been put into align the appropriate people in that matrix to have adequate access to our internal or to our internet providers where we do business with. That process has been completed. It was arduous. A lot of going flopping around in the background had to happen because people that were control people were no longer there, and we had to prove who had the right to do business electronically. And that concludes my report.
Any questions? It's time for mayor and council. I really don't have any comments other than to say, I hope that people will come and just, my email is listed. Ask me a question, I'll answer you. I check it every single day. And if I get an email and there's some things that we were supposedly sent some email, I have a factual document from there because we did switch to our Office 365. I thought, well, maybe we did have difficulties. Nothing came to our server, so that difficulty was not on our end, is what was told to us. But it is functioning, and if you don't get through to me, pick up the phone, call. That's fine too. I'll return your calls. So other than that, I'm good. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. Kyle, Jim, thank you. Thank you for everybody for coming. The time is 8:31. This meeting's adjourned.